The movie begins with a married woman receiving treatment from a psychiatrist. Her problem is that she is involved in multiple relationships, and the psychiatrist assures her that everything she shares will remain confidential. The woman begins to talk about her life, saying that she has a perfect family and lives with her husband Jason, their children, and her mother in the same house. However, she always feels the need to be in a relationship with another man besides her husband. Jason is a decent man, but he does not fulfill all of her emotional needs, which leaves her unsatisfied. Unfortunately, she dreams of having adventures with different men and living her life freely. The next day, she goes to work, where she owns a company that provides marketing and advertising services for any product. She appears with her assistant and close friend, Mira, who brought her pictures of an artist named William. Mira suggested they promote his work, and Rose was very impressed with his paintings. After work, Rose went to an exhibition showcasing William's art, where she met a handsome young man and spoke with him about William and his talent. She was surprised to discover that the man she was talking to was William himself. She told him that she owned an advertising company and wanted to collaborate with him to promote his work. It was clear that William was attracted to her, and he began flirting with her with romantic words that made her uncomfortable. He gave her his home address so they could discuss the project further. His way of speaking stirred hidden emotions inside her, and she decided to get closer to her husband. She planned a romantic evening for him with dinner and candles and called him to find out when he would be home. But she was shocked to learn that he would be late at work, which left her frustrated. To change the mood, she decided to go out to a nightclub. While there, her mother called and asked her to return home immediately. All of these events were narrated by Rose to the psychiatrist, noting that although Jason was kind to her, she always felt something was missing. She attributed this to their early marriage and having children at a young age. Rose continued, saying that the next day she went to William's house to arrange the advertising deal. When she entered and saw his work, she told him that her husband was an architect and that he would certainly admire his art. Strangely, William signed the partnership contract without reading it and told her this was not the first company to approach him, but he agreed on one condition, that she let him paint her. Rose felt embarrassed and decided to leave, but William followed her, flirted with her, and because of her emotional deprivation, she gave in. William took advantage of the moment, and they began a relationship. The following day, Rose was at the office when Mira told her she had secured contact with the owner of a major company who could help make their business successful. Rose asked her to arrange a dinner with him. Later, while in her room, Rose started imagining William with her, but her son suddenly walked in, interrupting her thoughts. He was upset that she hadn't come to watch him play, as she used to. She apologized and promised to be there next time. The next day at work, Mira reminded Rose about the dinner reservation and warned her not to be late, as it was the opportunity of a lifetime. But Rose was preoccupied with thoughts of William and considered ending things with him. She went to his house, but he wasn't there, so she left an envelope with the partnership contract inside and a note telling him she couldn't continue their relationship. As she was leaving, she ran into him by chance and told him she had to stay away for the sake of her family and children. He assured her that he wouldn't force her into anything and invited her to a secret place where she could decide freely. Rose agreed, and William blindfolded her before driving her to the location. When they arrived, she discovered that he was painting on building walls. He told her he had been working on that mural for 9 years and that she was the only person who knew about it. William then shared his painful childhood, how his mother abandoned him and his siblings, leading his father to commit suicide. He admitted he knew their relationship was wrong, but he loved her and couldn't stay away. Touched by his words, Rose gave in again. Because of her time with him, she missed the important dinner meeting, losing the big business opportunity. Later, Rose was shown speaking with the psychiatrist again, revealing that her relationship with William had continued for several months. Back home, she found her son furious because she missed his game for the second time. Her younger son noticed a blue streak in her hair, but Jason didn't pay much attention, as he trusted her. Rose visited the psychiatrist again, admitting that she was obsessed with relationships and didn't really love William, but only loved being with him. The psychiatrist suggested bringing her husband to the next session. One day, Jason discovered another phone with Rose. When he asked about it, she told him it was a gift from a company she worked with. Later, she confessed that she had been seeing a psychiatrist and asked him to join her, but he refused, saying she was fine and didn't need a shrink, dismissing psychiatrists as frauds. At another point, Rose noticed that William's attitude toward her had changed. When she asked why, he demanded that she leave her husband and openly live with him. Rose refused, saying she could never abandon her husband and children. Frustrated, she left. On her way out, she saw a painting of the two of them together, realizing he had become obsessed with her. To test whether she truly loved William or just the relationship itself, as her psychiatrist suggested, Rose went to a nightclub and had an encounter with another man. The next day, she visited her psychiatrist, who asked about her childhood. Annoyed by the question, Rose got angry and walked out of the session. One day, Rose visited William and was shocked to find him with another woman. He tried to justify it by saying he was only painting her, but Rose was furious and left him. Afterward, she went to the home of the man she met at the nightclub, realizing then that she was addicted to relationships and her behavior wasn't normal. On another night, she came home late to find Jason waiting for her. He asked why she was constantly absent and coming home so late. At that moment, Rose turned the tables on him, accusing him of belittling her work. She told him she was an independent woman and said, "Just because I make less money than you, doesn't give you the right to talk to me this way." She added that he never cared about her needs. Jason replied that he loved her and cared for their children, and that all his concerns revolved around making sure they lacked nothing. He told her the real change came from her, and that he felt she had become an entirely different person. The next day, Rose went to work, but because of her negligence, the clients abandoned her company and turned to other firms. After that, her friend Mira came to the office and harshly confronted her for neglecting her responsibilities and not caring about the business. Rose was then forced to go back to William, hoping to rekindle her relationship with him and persuade him to sign the contract with her company again. To her shock, she found her husband Jason visiting William. Rose quickly rushed into William's room to hide so Jason wouldn't see her. It turned out that Jason had come to view William's artwork and even offered to work with him. William already knew Jason was Rose's husband, and when Jason approached one of William's paintings of Rose, William did nothing to stop him from seeing it. Rose noticed this indifference, which infuriated her. After Jason left, she angrily confronted William and stormed out. When Rose returned home, she was surprised to receive a call from the man she had met at the nightclub, but she refused to answer. As she stepped out of her room, she saw her family preparing to go out, and was shocked when they didn't even ask her to join them, having grown used to her absence. Later, she visited her psychiatrist, who once again tried to lead her into discussing her childhood, but Rose flatly refused. Suddenly, she lashed out at the psychiatrist, accused her of being a fraud, and left the session. Back at home, she found the man she had been involved with waiting outside her house. He left her an envelope containing her underwear. Once inside, she was stunned to discover that William had sent her husband Jason a sculpture as a gift, one Jason had admired when visiting William. Rose felt her world collapsing and decided to end things with William once and for all. At the same time, she asked the man she'd met at the nightclub to meet her, and she gave him William's address. When he arrived, he found William there. Rose told both men that she had gathered them to make things clear. She loved her husband and wanted them both out of her life. She admitted her behavior was not truly her choice, but the result of a psychological illness for which she was receiving treatment. The nightclub man didn't take this well. He tried to assault her, but William intervened, beat him badly, and threw him out. Afterward, William snapped, turning aggressive, and told Rose he would never allow her to leave him. Rose was terrified and tried to hide, but William found her and nearly killed her. At that moment, Jason arrived and struck William with the very sculpture he had been gifted. Jason then confronted Rose, telling her he had discovered everything through the phone she had forgotten at home. He threw the phone in her face and walked out. Rose chased after him, begging for forgiveness. She told him she acted that way because of unresolved psychological trauma from her childhood, that she wasn't proud of herself, but was trying to heal. Jason, enraged, shouted that she was using her illness as an excuse for her infidelity, that she had destroyed her life and reputation. He added that once their children knew the truth, they would hate her, and told her their life together was over, that she was dead to him. Hopeless, Rose decided to end her life. She went to the highway and threw herself in front of a car. She survived, however, and was taken to the hospital. When she woke up, she found Jason at her side. He hadn't left her, despite everything. After some time, Jason returned home but told her that although he wouldn't deprive her of her children, he was leaving. As time passed, Rose sank into depression. One day, Mira visited her, and Rose suddenly received an invitation from the psychiatrist. At the same time, Jason had come back to see his children. Her mother spoke to him, asking him to forgive Rose and start anew, especially after learning that her issues stemmed from deep childhood trauma. She handed him the psychiatrist's invitation. In the final scene, Rose accepts the invitation and goes to the psychiatrist, where she faces everyone and reveals the truth. She admits that as a child, she was assaulted by 3 boys, an experience that scarred her psychologically. She declares that she truly loves her husband and children. Jason listens, and upon hearing her confession, he enters the room, finally believing that she really was ill. He decides to forgive her and start a new chapter with her. And that concludes today's movie. Please, if you enjoyed the film, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video so you can see our latest uploads.